afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending on where you're tuning in from. I'm Jill Pritchet, as you know, and we're here looking at IT service management. In front of us, I'm going to go through the key topics that I intend to cover in this presentation. I'd like to start with introducing what IT service management is, to make sure we all have a common understanding, why there is a need for things to change, how you might want to implement IT service management in your own organisations, and at the end I will summarise and draw my own conclusions. So what do I mean by IT service management? I mean a set of related IT functions which support a customer's business in three distinct areas: IT applications, IT infrastructure, and managed IT service delivery. And of course, in this context, the customers could be both internal or external. So what can be delivered from IT service management standards? A number of benefits. I've highlighted just a few for you. More effective use of resources, better estimating of future workloads, reduction in incident volumes, quicker incident resolution, and less disruption to the services you offer to your clients, faster change implementation, improved reliability and availability of service, reduced long-term cost of service provision, more realistic and achievable service level agreement targets, and ideally better communications between IT and the business. Now that's obviously taking into account, it depends how you apply your IT service management. If you do it the right way, then those are some of the benefits that you can achieve. But of course, there's always a right and a wrong way of doing things. Underlying this is the significant cost savings that can and should be realised. Business outcomes from better IT service management. We're looking for more integrated and service-focused suppliers and partners. A continuous improvement in the quality of the IT services that you deliver, a reduction in the waste and an improvement in your productivity levels, more consistency and reliability of service to the customers. What that means is obviously a more competitive business. If you link that to the previous benefits on the previous slide, then obviously being more competitive in the current market is an essential element. So in reality, most of what the various IT service management standards or models cover is what I would deem to be common sense for any service delivery organisation. Most of you are probably doing a lot of the right things, but often problems start to occur because good ideas and good practices, although within the organisation, perhaps aren't being consistently applied across the whole of the organisation. There may be a lack of a cohesive approach to service management and an inability to maximise the overall potential of your people. So it's one thing to apply the principles of IT service management, but the impact can be less than expected if we don't do it the right way. Experience tells us that if different people within an organisation apply ITSM inconsistently, then conflicts can arise, and those conflicts can significantly impact the efficiency and willingness for the staff to adapt. So let's have a look at some of these different standards and models for IT service management. This slide starts to look at the three main ones. There are others. I'm focusing today on ITIL, which is a framework. In other words, it's a set of guidelines. You can't actually get a certificate on the wall to say that you're ITIL certified. ISO 20000 is the IT service management standard, and That is formal. You can be certified against that to show that you've followed the principles. CMMI for Service is a model for best practice, and again, formal assessment is available there. If we look at the history of how these have all evolved, going back as far as 1989, there was really no formal framework for service management of IT. Then in 1989, the UK government created ITIL to introduce best practice and provide that framework for providing quality IT services. In 2005, the early British standard BS 15000 was fast-tracked to become ISO 20000. And in March 2009, the Software Engineering Institute in the States released CMMI for Service, either for use on its own or in addition to their other models, for example, CMMI for Development. And I've tagged on the latest one that's coming in the pipeline, which is Ticket Plus. This is, again, a UK thing, which was currently known as Ticket and is aligned with ISO 9001. And the new version of that will be called Ticket Plus, and during 2010, the new version will come out and will also include IT service management. All of this is reflecting how things are evolving and how increasingly important it is for organizations to be able to demonstrate that they have proper management and control of all aspects of their services. The focus for today will not be on Ticket Plus because that is something that is evolving at this point in time. Okay, on the next slide, what I'm giving you is just a very high-level view of each of the three. So if we're looking at ITIL version 3, you can see that there are 5 main groupings. We have service operation, service strategy, service transition, continual service improvement, and service design. And under each of those headings, there are subheadings for different things that need to be done encompassing that specific area. If we look at ISO 20000, in a similar way, it has 6 groupings: service delivery, control, release, resolution, relationship, and a group that they would call generic practices. You will start to see that there are similarities in what they cover, but it is not an identical match. And then if we look at CMMI for Service, there are 7 main groupings here: service delivery, incident resolution and prevention, strategic service management, capacity and availability management, service continuity management, service system development, and service system transition. Now, the reason I've done it this way is to demonstrate to you how there is commonality, but also they're not identical. It's a bit like comparing the apples with the pears. So there is overlap between the models and the standards, but the terminology that they use can be different. So there won't be 100% match between each of them. And indeed, the depth required to attain can be at a totally different level in each of the areas. By way of example, I've selected continuity management, and I've given you a subset here to look at. And what you see there is in red, I've highlighted